Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce our group, International Relations, Salsa and Marlina. Britain historical position. Britain historical position as a colonial, economic, and political power was in relative decline by the early decades of the 20th century. It has complained about its contribution to the EU budget, which was eventually reduced. Object to the agricultural and fisheries policy and opposed movement towards foreign and defense policy. Despite change in Eastern Europe since 1989 and moves to transform NATO into a more flexible military association, the British government has taken such development cautiously and is concerned to maintain its own military defense with both conventional and nuclear forces. The primary objective of defense policy are to ensure to the country's security and to the NATO commitment and to allow British forces to engage in high intensity war as well as in peacekeeping roles. For example, the Labour government had earlier developed a foreign policy with an ethical dimension which focus on human rights and shifted away from aggressive unilateral action to persuasive partnership. But while it was gradually reduced in the defense expenditure and overseas commitments, some critics feel that the current cuts in this area should be directed to domestic problems in Britain. Empire and Commonwealth. Immigrants from the Britain settled in countries such as Australia, Canada, South Africa, and New Zealand. The empire developed into the British Empire and common in the late 19th and early 20th centuries when Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa became self-governing dominions and exhibited independence. The British is a non-political head and working constitutional rules in the different countries. The prime ministers or head of state in Commonwealth countries meet every 2 years under the auspices of the monarchs for Commonwealth. For Commonwealth conferences in different parts of the world.
The European Union (EU), the ideal of a united Europe strong in economic and political institutions, became increasingly attractive to European statesmen after the Second World War, 1939 until 45. The foundation for a more integrated Europe were established in 1957 when six countries, West Germany, France, Belgium, and Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Italy, signed the Treaty of Rome and formed the European Economic Communities (EEC). He was critical of Britain's relationship with the USA, particularly on nuclear weapons policies, queried the extent of British commitment to Europe, and arguably did not want Britain as a potential rival to the leadership of the EEC. But a new Labour government, 1974, under Harold Wilson, was committed to giving the British people a referendum on continued membership. The Council of Ministers is the principal policy implementing body and is normally composed of foreign ministers from the member states. In comparison, commissioners, with two from Britain, chosen from member states to hold certain portfolios, such as agriculture or competition policy, for a renewable 5-year period. The European Parliament, in which Britain has 87 seats until suitable for 41, is directly elected for a 5-year term on a party political basis from the UA, which electorates. It is argued that the Parliament is the only elected body in the UA. Some British politicians were wants economic and political integration on federal lines, while others see the EU as a free trade area in which national legal rights and interests are firmly retained, but it supports enlargement, a second chamber of a representative from national parliaments, and never moved toward common European defense. Irish Republic and Netherlands. During the 20th century, as Britain has detached itself from empire and entered the European Union, its relationship with Northern Ireland and the Irish Republic was problematic, but the latter is now more closely involved politically with the UK as a result of the 1998 Good Friday Agreement on Northern Ireland and later legislation. A basic knowledge of the island's long and troubled history is essential in order to understand the current role of the Irish Republic and the actual situation in Northern Ireland itself. For any solution to the problems, there cannot be simplistic. 100 years later, Oliver Cromwell crushed rebellions in Ireland and continued the earlier Prussian policy by which England and Scottish settlers were given land and right over the native Irish. The Northern Ireland government asked for the British Army to be sent in to restore order. No one side of this divides in the provisional wings of this Irish Republic's army, which is supported by some Republican and Catholics. The IRA wants to remove the British political and military presence from Northern Ireland. There have been various assemblies and executives in Northern Ireland which were attempts to give the Catholic minority political representation in cooperation with the Protestant majority power sharing. The Downing Street Declaration of 1993 by the Irish and British government was a further attempt to halt the violence and bring all parties to the conference table to discuss the future as the whole country. Legislation was passed in Dublin and London for referendum on the agreement and provided for election to a new Northern Ireland Assembly. The Protestant unions want to remain part of the United Kingdom. a post-union with the Republic of Ireland, insists upon the decommissioning of all Iraq weapons and argued that any future solution for Northern Ireland must lie in consensus by a majority of the people living there. Okay, that's all. Just enough from our groups. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.